All right, so I'm recording, and then none of you are getting that notification of getting host permission now?
It's like I'm recording now.
Okay, it's like
Okay. Okay.
So I'll go first again.
It's fine.
So, my name is Ligia. I'm a third-year urban learning student. So I'm getting my credential with my degree for multiple subject, which is elementary school teaching. And I am taking this class as a requirement, but also just because I think it'll help me overall with my career and what I'm going to school as. Definitely something important to know. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll go next. My name is Maria. Maria Rivas. I am a nursing major, and I guess I'm just taking this class to kind of gain more knowledge on disabilities, and I know I'm gonna encounter patients who are disabled, and I want to be more understanding, more knowledgeable, and more sensitive on the topic.
Alrighty then. My name is Margarita. I go by Maggie. I'm an accounting major. Again, not totally sure how many years I have here. Again, 2012, and then I was on a leave for 2 years. I switched majors already. I was a pre-social work. Now I'm accounting. So my goal is just to finish. I'm taking this class because it was one of my requirements that I could select. So, and it was open because I returned this fall. I registered really, really late. Like I registered 3 weeks before school started. So I was like, okay, glad something was open. But the class caught my attention a lot because I have a brother-in-law who is completely deaf. So I deal with it often. But I get really shocked sometimes and I can't communicate with him.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of hoping this class helps me get over that fear. Yeah.
Be more open-minded.
Yes. So which is kind of what we're talking about with ableism and everything.
Yeah.
And it isn't because I feel privileged or anything. It's just it's kind of scary because I've never dealt with it. And I don't know if you guys are Hispanic or not.
Yeah,
but okay. But I don't know if you noticed the Hispanic community is very shunful. Like they hide their disability kids. So one as a Latino growing up didn't really see others with disabilities because the parents tend to shelter them so much that you never actually get to interact with them. Yeah.
It's
so
considered, like they're not tolerant about it or open-minded about it. It is like
so they pretty much push them into that category, which is sad.
So, and I feel like that's how like a lot of fear towards like or anxiety towards like communicating with them is or like stems from, because like I've never really interacted kind of like you with any individuals with disabilities, and then kind of not wanting to be insensitive and just communicate like you would with anyone else, but just having that in the back of your mind that
see so I approach the situation like that. I try to be as open-minded as possible. And I've taken up to ASO 3 at Cal State LA, and it's still like when it comes to face with him, I like freeze. I don't understand what he's signing. I don't like it. Just
it's faster.
Not only that it's faster, it's like my whole knowledge of it disappears. And it's so frustrating. And then and I've been dealing with it or trying to help with it. I've been with my husband now since we started dating, almost 10 years. And then we got married 2 years ago. So it's a lot of me now actually needing to interact with him, and I'm not there yet.
I feel like because my mom works with people with disabilities. That's what she's always worked with. Like, so I've been around them a lot. But I do remember when I was little, it would be like, she would like be like, don't talk to them, don't go near. Like she would be very like, don't go near them, don't talk to them. So it almost built that, like what you said, like fear of like communicating with them because she would or people will sometimes act like there's somebody that you shouldn't be talking to, or like somebody that you shouldn't be interacting with, when it's not. It shouldn't be that way, but it's like how you can be raised, you know?
Yeah, and then more now as an adult, I see them a lot more. Like I feel rude saying it that way, but I see a lot more students with disabilities on campus.
Yeah, me
I interact with them a lot more because I used to work at a Wava Girl,
Okay.
and interestingly enough, we had regular customers who were deaf,
Mhm.
and it was weird because with them, I can take their order in sign language, no problem.
Oh, that's
But
so
but when it comes to him, it's just like I don't know what happens.
it's more casual, you think, where like what, like Bobber Girl, it's more like, okay, this is what do you want.
I'm like, he doesn't really know me. I'm like, he won't judge my signing that much. um, and then I worked at H&R Block, so a lot of customer service. And there was all type of people with disabilities, either wheelchair or completely deaf. It I know how to interact with it. It's just it's still very difficult for me, and it's I don't know. I feel that like the word ableism kind of applied to me a lot, and I don't think I was really aware of it until actually knowing the definition of what it is.
Or just trying to be like normal and not knowing what normal is, or like how to be normal, or it kind of feels like you don't want to offend nobody, but you don't know how to be like relaxed, you know, almost like not knowing how to relax around them and be yourself, because you don't want to offend anybody and you don't know what will or won't, almost.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I was like, hopefully taking this class will like kind of show me, or like, you know, teach me what is like appropriate and inappropriate, you know.
Like the whole thing where they were like, oh, sometimes we don't need help, and like that was something I didn't understand. Like sometimes like even trying to help them, or like without asking them, it can be like a overstepping of boundaries.
Yeah.
Or you would think that you're doing the right thing, but it is kind of true. It's like annoying. Like I have a tattoo, which is like weird off topic, but I get annoyed when somebody asks me about it, just because like it's like I know it's there, but that shouldn't be a topic of conversation all the time. So I kind of connected with that, where like sometimes like we don't need help, and for somebody to ask to just help them without them asking is kind of like an intrusion of their personal space, and like maybe I don't need help, or you know, maybe I don't want to talk about that or something.
Yeah.
So I understood that there. And as far as ableism, it's like us assuming that they need help, or us assuming that if we're around them that we need to like help them, that they can't just be themselves and be normal, like that they're always going to be like a liability, which doesn't have to be that way.
Like I think it was a video that said that like, you know, they know when to ask for help and when to reach out. Like they got it, you know. So yeah, like I guess like
Go on.
go ahead.
No, go on. Finish your thought. I'm sorry.
Okay, I was just gonna say like on the topic of ableism, like I guess I had never really thought about it too much. I had kind of like known like I'm privileged just because of who I am, and you know, I'm like fully functioning and there's nothing setting me back. And then I guess just reading it like kind of just was like, wow, you know. um it can be like how like everyday conversation things that you say just can make me seem insensitive. And I was glad that, you know, the reading kind of, you know, kind of told me like saying the word lame, and I was like, wow, I never knew that that's what it actually meant, you know.
Yeah. Or how it became like a negative like word.
Exactly.
And I guess that's like one of the things about like not like being politically correct, because then it can erase like the whole meaning of a word and turn it into like something like how gay used to mean like happy, and then it meant homosexual, and then it like
Yeah. Like that.
twisted around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
And then one of the questions, let's see. So consider your own privileges. Yes, we all have them. How do they impact your perceptions of individuals with disabilities? For me, it was always that, like, you know what they say, like feeling bad for them or feeling sorry for them or feeling like we need to help them because they somehow can't help themselves. So almost seeing them like as children,
Yeah.
like not as like fully functioning adults that can do what they want to do.
Yeah.
And I
Uh-huh.
see that. Oh yeah, I was gonna say, like, I think I see that too because my mom works with like people with disabilities in like a day program, and a lot of them still live with their parents,
Mm-hmm.
and then it does come across like situations where, like, let's say like one of them that she brought up was like how two people that were in her program liked each other, but when the parents found out, they were like, no, like my daughter's not allowed to have a boyfriend, but the daughter's like 35. So it was like that, like even sometimes like their parents not even letting them have like lives, not letting them make their own decisions,
Yeah.
treating them like less than treating them like children, you know, instead of adults.
Yeah.
I think I see that a lot more in the Hispanic community.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like for instance, with my brother-in-law, he has a bunch of friends who are deaf because he goes to the school and everything. And then he has one of them, which kind of caught me off guard, which is another thing about invalidism. He can just, he drives his car. He has his license, he drives his car, and it throws me off so much. But like, you see it, and it's like, okay, well, yes, he can do almost anything we do. He just can't hear you.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them work like at Ross or something like that, just stalking. And
Mm-hmm.
it's nice seeing them actually progress and everything. And then I see some of the families I know who have kids who are disabled who are like, oh no, you can't go work, you can't try to be an individual.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, why? Because to me, I see them and they have the same limitations as the kids I've met. And it's like, okay, if they can do it, then I assume your kid can.
Yeah.
And it's a lot like, oh no, 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 can't you see that he's deaf? He can't do that, he can't be out in the world. So it's just literally sheltering them, and you're not letting them grow. So you end up pretty much just having a child
Yeah.
all the time. And then when you get old, it's kind of like, well, what am I going to do with him now?
Mm-hmm.
And it's so sad to see it because I've seen it a lot now that I'm older, that there's a lot of adults who have children who are older adults or in their 40s who are disabled, and they're scared that what's going to happen to their child when they pass away. And it's like, well, if you would have treated the situation differently or allowed that child to grow at the max, then you probably wouldn't be in that situation,
Yeah.
you know?
Still seeing them as individuals.
Yeah, so they don't see, they just see them as a part of them that can't grow completely.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, like, a lot of disabilities aren't like visible. You know, like if you walk past someone with like I don't know, maybe a learning disability, maybe it's not obvious that they have
Yeah.
you know, so it's like, why treat someone who has like a visible disability different than someone you would that you can't really see the
I even think like one funny like crazy thing that it was saying was like how anxiety is like a disability and how like a lot of people don't accept that as a disability, but I know people who have like crippling anxiety where like it is hard for them to just get out of bed and go to school or like to focus because of that, and what how that is treated as like somebody who just doesn't care or like isn't wanting to participate when like, it could be so many other things. And it's like we're not sensitive and we think that everybody should be a mentally a certain way, and if like you're different, then like you just have to deal with that on your own and no one wants to accommodate you.
Yeah. With the anxiety thing, what I've seen a lot is like a lot of people are kind of like, because since your disability is invisible, they're kind of just like, get over it and like move on with your life.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm like, it isn't something they can just get over with, because it's something they're dealing with, living with every day. And like, you don't know what they're going through.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people are just like, oh no, it's like, that's not a natural disability. Like, you need to just get over it, get your life together. And like, unfortunately, I've seen some people try to be suicidal for that reason.
Yeah, or people who have depression and can't get up out of bed.
Mm-hmm.
No one wants to listen to them. Nobody wants to help them. And, you know, one day they do end up doing the worst and people wonder why. And it's like some people just aren't, I think, but with mental disabilities, like, I feel like a lot of people think that they're made up or they don't think that they're real.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't want to like be helpful to people that have them or be sensitive to those.
Yeah, and it's also something that I feel like not too many people talk about, you know, anxiety, depression, especially I feel like in the Hispanic community, like, you know, especially men, they always like hide their feelings, you know, they have like almost like a mask on, you know, to not show any emotions and not be able to speak or like express what they're feeling.
And I think that's a lot with men where like instead of being sad or anything, they get angry and then it like comes out of anger. You know, that's the only emotion acceptable that men can show. And then it like people wonder like, wow, like they're crazy. Why are they being so angry? But it could be like so many things bottled up, so many things that they haven't ever talked about. Because they're not allowed, especially in Hispanic or like more traditional communities. I think like anybody who has traditional parents can say that too. Like, let's see another question. What is the implication of the language that you use? I feel like I'm really good about like not really like bringing people down with language, but I feel like there is a thing now where people will be like, oh, that gives me OCD, or like, oh, I'm triggered, or like, oh, that's giving me anxiety. And I don't know, like, you know, some people say that it's downplaying people with anxiety, but also I'm like, what if that person actually has anxiety or actually has a trigger and they're just joking about it? And the reason that they're saying it out loud is because they think they can joke about it, but they probably maybe are really experiencing that. And it's also kind of like rude for me to be like, oh, you don't really have anxiety. Like, why are you downplaying it? Like, what if they do?
Yeah, you know?
Yeah.
What if they really do? And they're just trying to make it a joke.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like that's the whole thing about like language, like how impactful it is, and like words having like different connotations. So if you say one word, that means the same thing as another one. You know, one might have like a more negative impact to someone just because of the like difference between words. You know, so that's why it's like important to like, you know, select the words carefully. And I feel like I'm pretty good about that too. It's just, you know, sometimes like, you know, saying like person first versus disability first. Like it's something I always kind of know, but sometimes catch myself almost saying disability first versus person first, and then I have to like correct myself. Kind of thing. Yeah.
Or like, and then definitely like that one video that we've seen about like like casual language or like saying the R word. Like it's weird because I don't know people who say that anymore, but like I don't hang out with people like that, and I like for like people who are saying that, especially like comedians. I'm like, honestly, like they're probably like such like those are those types of people that if you like tell them like, hey, you're like using that word wrong, they're like gonna laugh at you because like there's something inside of them that's like low key like miserable, I feel like, and like they thrive off of like getting that negative reaction or getting that negativity. And so I just thought like those people like we should not even pay attention to.
I think your language is probably better than mine. I'm one of those people who are very, I just say what's on my mind. And I've learned to limit it like at work and stuff because I'm dealing with customers and stuff. But when it's like just us as friends, I'm kind of just very verbal with how I say things. And like my husband's got into me, he's all like, you need to watch your language on how you're saying things. And I'm like, it's because we're at home, right? And he's like, yeah. He's like, but he's like, you don't know, maybe a friend of ours is gonna take it the wrong way, you know. So I try to get better. Like I try to act and speak how I speak at work here.
Mhm.
And it's still kind of difficult because I love just saying what's on my mind.
Yeah.
But
I mean, dude, freedom of speech too. It's like, I mean, I even wrote on my discussion, like, we can't be like the thought police or the nice police. Like, people are gonna say what they're gonna say.
yeah, well, yeah, because everyone's entitled to their own opinion, but still, there should be a respectful way of speaking, either way. But I don't think a lot of people see that. I choose the friends that I know that won't lose their mind on it. But he's a like, you don't know. He's like, maybe they're just not saying anything because they know how you are.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I need to filter myself a bit more.
Yeah.
That, and this class might be that, like, also that push to be like, okay, like,
Yeah.
all right, I think we got to the 15-minute mark.
You think we answered everything?
How are you?
How are you? How aware are you of disability around you? What is the implication of the language you use? Where do you see ableism? Consider your own privileges. How do they impact your perceptions of individuals with disabilities? And have you been guilty of ableism?
I feel like we did.
Yeah. So I'll make the last question. I'm very guilty. Like I've told you guys.
Yeah, I think
and
we
it's
all have, like, whether consciously or unconsciously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We all have things that we say.
Mm-hmm. Right. So if we're all set, let's.
Do we share it or what do we do?
I don't know yet. So let's find out if I. Thing is, do we pause or do we stop to share it? Did you get the running out of time thing?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's. I want to say, did you guys pause or stop it?
No, I haven't. Should I just stop it?
I don't know. Let me click share and see what happens.
Oh, stop video.
Okay, so I paused the recording. But I don't know how to share it.
Oh, stop to share.
Let me stop it. Oh, it says the recorded file will be converted to MP4 when the meeting ends. Okay.
I'm trying to do that. So did you stop it first, you said?
Yeah, I stopped it.
Oh, shit.